Hello, Stitchers. Welcome to Stitch Please, the official podcast of Black Women Stitch, the sewing group where Black Lives Matter. I'm your host, Lisa Woolfork. I'm a fourth-generation sewing enthusiast with more than 20 years of sewing experience. I am looking forward to today's conversation, so sit back, relax, and get ready to get your stitch together. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Stitch Please podcast. I always say they're special episodes because all the episodes are special. But we are here today talking about sewing spaces. And my guest today, I am so happy to have her, is so Stacie. You can find So Stacie from Instagram. She is a fantastic sewist, you all. She is an amazing powerhouse in her own right. She's a veterinarian. And I'm trying to figure out how I know two Black women veterinarians who sew. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out because you know Sierra.
I was gonna say the fun fact is Sierra was in vet school with me. She was just 2 classes under me.
Like, how?
And she's my sorority sister, so we're really
close. I knew that. I knew that you were both in the same sorority, and I think you all were around the same. Like, I just figured that you connected somehow, and so yes. And I was like, this is really amazing. Lucky me. That's all I have to say.
Lucky me, because we didn't know, well, I guess she had been sewing before we went to vet school. I'm not sure, but I didn't start until 3 years ago. So it was just funny when we both found each other on Instagram, like, hey.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know she sewed.
It's a party. I am so glad. So you said that you've been sewing for 3 years. Tell me about the early part of your sewing journey. What made you turn to sewing in the first place?
So I'm gonna shout out Daphne Dansby. She goes by he plus she. Not sure if you've been to her page.
Yes, I do. Yes.
She is my line sister from Alabama State University.
Oh, wonderful.
And Daphne used to sew all the time. Like, not only is she my line sister, she's my back. It's just the connections are amazing.
Oh, wonderful.
But Daphne used to sew and post her stuff all the time. And I just was fascinated by that. I thought it was so cool. So another one of my friends, LaToya, she goes by Sky and Bailey's mom on Instagram. But Toya would make things, and I just thought it was so cool. Like, I would talk to her and I would hear her sewing. And my grandmother taught me how to sew when I was little because I used to bug her. But after I started to move around and stuff for work, I got to the point where I was like, I kind of need a hobby because I'm always somewhere by myself, So I bought a sewing machine, did not open the box for 6 months. Did not. It said completely sealed. I never broke the tape, nothing. I bought it off of Amazon, and it was the Brother, I think, is it 6,000? If it's not 6,000, it's 3,000. But at any rate, I think it's a great beginner machine. But I bought it and I left it in the box, and I was just afraid to do anything. And finally, Toya told me that Mimi G had the Soda Academy.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll check this out. And what I loved about the Soda Academy, the very first lesson, when you go to it, Mimi tells you, even if you don't have a sewing machine, start at lesson 1. And it's the best. I mean, she literally walks you through what kind of machine to get. And I just thought that was like the best sigh of relief for someone like me who was afraid. Yeah. So I finally opened the box 6 months after I bought it because I relocated. I was living in Hattiesburg, Mississippi at the time. But I relocated to Montgomery, Alabama, which I was excited because I went to college in Montgomery, as well as Tuskegee for vet school, and they're down the street from each other. And as soon as I got there, my mom got really ill and almost passed. God is good, because she did not, and she recovered from it, but it was just all of a sudden.
Oh, thank goodness.
Had a really bad issue with her gallbladder and pancreas. And I mean, she was like, they had to put her in a medically induced coma. And I had to cope with that. So At that point, I took the tape off the box. And that was it. I started playing the videos from the Sew It Academy. And I remember our first project, even down to stitching on the paper, on the dots. Like,
wow.
Shout out to Mimi G for the Sew It Academy because it's awesome. And I'll say after a few months, I used to bug Daphne a lot. And I'm like, Daphne, when you brought your first pattern, were you afraid? What did you do? And I used to ask her that all the time. And she's very sweet and soft spoken. And one day she just got firm with me and was like, girl, they got to sell at Joann's. Go buy a pattern and get to it. She was like,
it's going to cost you.
You can read directions, you can cook, you can sew.
Yes.
And I did it. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead with questions, but my very first thing that I sewed with a pattern, I should have known better, but I stuck with it. I took a pattern that was a top.
Yes.
That had a cape attached to it. And I took that and extended it and made an evening gown.
Oh my.
And I still can't believe that I did that because one day I went back to that dress and I'm like, ooh, the seams were just not good. Like, I cannot believe I did that, but I stuck with it and I wore my gown. I wore it to a banquet and I got a lot of compliments, but the inside of it, I was not ready. But practice makes perfect.
That's okay. And for your first project, that is a very impressive project. I think my first sewing project was a tote bag. So
yeah.
It was not easy.
Well, I had those things with the Sew It Academy, but on my own,
yes, own
like
thing.
I just can't believe I did that, and I didn't realize how courageous and scary that was until it was Green Week of So Happy Color.
Oh my!
And I posted that first one, and I was like, I cannot believe I did that.
Good for you, though, to go from a someone who was quite fearful or trepidatious, and then to become rather fearless. I think that's really amazing. It's very impressive, and the story of your growth and transformation. And now you've had opportunities to do other things in the sewing community. I recall you mentioning the Project Sew Atlanta, that Nikki runs. I'm calling it projects. I think that's the wrong name for it. Sewing My Style, Atlanta Sewing Style, Style.
Yeah, so I'll clear up the name. So the Project Sew is actually Monica. That's Monica.
Right. That's right.
And so it's the Project Sew, and it started in Dallas.
That's right.
And Monica and it was fate that day when we all met because I was in Montgomery, hadn't been sewing but like 5 minutes.
Right.
And right after the green dress. And I saw the Project Sew was coming to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I was like, I saw they had one for Dallas and I commented on it when I found the Instagram page.
Yes.
And Monica commented and said, hey, I'm coming to Atlanta. So I bought a ticket and there were so many of us that since that one time, I haven't seen all of us together in that one room again. Wow. But a lot of people that I follow, we all met that day. And so, Monica, like I said, that's her project. And she started it up for Atlanta. And Nikki has, when we could meet in person, Nikki would be the person for running Project Sew Atlanta. But Atlanta Sewing Style is Nikki's baby.
Project. That's her baby. Yeah.
Yes. And from that day.
The photo shoots and stuff that she does. And
awesome.
Have you participated in some of those events? Some of the Atlanta Sewing Style events?
I have I know I've done one. I'm trying to think if I've done another, but the one for me was when we went to Tyler Perry Studios. Mm-hmm. That was so cool. It was a
vintage cars. That was the vintage cars, right?
It was the vintage car show. And I thought that was really cool because basically we all made dresses to accommodate or complement whatever car we were going to, accent. So it was beautiful. It was cold, but again,
was it cold?
Oh my goodness! It was cold. It had been raining.
Photos. Y'all looked amazing. Y'all was all stunting. It did not look like y'all was cold.
Yeah, it was survival of the fittest that day, but we had so much fun. You would not know, but it was like the ground was wet because it had rained.
Oh no!
But we had so much fun. Like I love Atlanta Sewing Style. Love those ladies. I've just had the best time with them. I do appreciate them.
And you've also been doing some work with mood as well, right? You hosted one of the Sow Your Views, which was it a mood pattern?
That was actually a McCall's pattern.
A McCall's pattern. So tell me about the Sow Your View. I believe that's another kind of very popular Instagram challenge, and Monica has been, really, in the front of that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what was it like doing a Sow Your View?
That was really cool because although I used to be a teacher before becoming a veterinarian, and I'll still teach an adjunct class here and there at a community college or something.
Oh, nice.
But to teach someone, to physically record myself, edit, and all of that, I had never done that before. So I was really afraid, but I'm so glad that I did it because that really gave me another boost of confidence. I never would have thought I would have done something like that. And another challenge I had was I have to travel for my job.
Okay.
And the pandemic had just broken out, and I'm a federal veterinarian, so I don't work in clinics. I do public safety, like food. Yeah. And we were short staffed, and I had to, the week that I had planned to record my video, I got detailed to go work in Southwest Mississippi.
Oh my word.
So I was afraid not to go work, but because, oh my goodness, this thing that I need to do, I have to pretty much pack up my car and do it from the hotel room. It was so much fun. I took my table that I'm sitting at right now. It's just a folding table that I got from Home Depot. I drilled down my self-healing mat.
Yes.
From my rotary. I drilled down 2 of them so I could still fold the table.
Yeah.
I packed up my car, and I took my tripod, my camera, and I went to work. So it was great. And I think that probably made it better because if I wasn't at work, that was the only distraction I had.
Right.
I wasn't at home doing other stuff. So that was great. And I would love, honestly, I don't care where or who, I would actually love to do another Sow Along. I have a YouTube channel. And I have a really great tutorial, Sow Along, for my blue coat that I made for I can't get the name out. that I made for Minerva, as a Minerva maker.
Oh, a Minerva maker.
But I was having trouble getting the video to upload. It's been a task. Oh, so yeah, I like doing the Sow Alongs, but I just really haven't had the chance to really get into it like I should. But I love it. Just bottom line, I appreciate the effort now that I see. When you see Sow Alongs and you've made one, you really appreciate somebody's time.
I have not done one, but I have not done one, but I have heard that from people who have led them, and it just seems like so much work, not just to make the garment, but also to break down the steps in such a way that people can pick them up and understand. And then to film it too. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's like stacks on stacks on stacks of work. So congratulations.
And I would say this for anybody listening, because Nikki and I talked about this, because I reached out to Nikki not too long ago, and I was like, I am having the hardest time getting this Sow Along up. Like, what do I need to do? If you are filming a Sow Along, do not press record until you are ready for somebody to see you do what you're doing. So the issue that I'm having with this one Sow Along, and even though it's April, y'all gonna get this coat, okay? I don't care if it's June, you gonna
it'll be a May coat. It'll be a September coat, but the coat
is you're gonna be the cutest thing out there when it gets cold, because you're gonna get this Sow Along in the hot months. But I was pressing record.
Yes.
And I would do a little something, turn around, get something to drink, just whatever. The longer your clips are, because you're gonna do a lot of footage, you're gonna start and stop. The longer those clips are, the longer it's gonna take to import. And I had like 5 hours worth of footage, and I was trying to chop it down, but my system is just not happy with how much footage I have. So anybody that's filming a Sow Along, do not press record until you are ready to record that step. Don't waste the time and the space on your phone. camera, whatever it is you're using, please, if I've never told you nothing else, don't press record until you are ready. And as soon as you're done, press stop.
And that's less editing for later.
Less editing for later. And so the issue of mine went to the iCloud, and it's always wanting to download when I'm trying to get back to it. And after you put your footage together,
yes,
after so long, you end up with like 5 hours worth of footage.
Oh, good gosh.
And trying to edit that, and sometimes the system doesn't want to work. It's been a headache. So, yeah, that was a lesson learned for me.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that with us so that we can avoid that misstep. So thank you. So let's talk about your sewing space. You built this space. When did you start? You finally opened the box that had your sewing machine in it. You needed a stress relief. You needed something to do to take your mind off the stressful situation that you were in with your mother's health crisis. And thank God, I'm glad she is well. I'm glad she's better.
Yes.
And so you've done that. And now you're like, okay, where am I going to sew? How did you decide to set up your sewing room or your sewing space? How did you come to that or arrive at that decision?
So this answer is going to be fun because when I first started sewing, I was living in Montgomery. I bought the sewing machine in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, in that apartment. A year later, I moved to Montgomery because the whole name of the game with my job is you get a job in the agency and you work your way back home. Okay. So I was trying to get back home. It was not a secret. Everybody that I've worked for has known that because you do the same job. It's just different locations.
Right.
And so I set up the spot in Hattiesburg, never opened the box, moved to Montgomery in June of 2018. And then I used my second bedroom in my apartment as my sewing space.
Okay.
And I had just a little cheap desk. I think I may have gotten it from like Big Lots.
Yeah.
And I would say the only true like notions and tools and stuff. I mean, I had a bunch of thread. I had some scissors. Like I had the minimum, I was starting out. So I set up that second bedroom and that was cool. And then when I moved, they had a position open such that I could move back to Birmingham a year after that. So I moved home and I moved in with my mom and, because it was so quick. So came home and there was no space. I literally had a folding card table in my mom's dining room. I kept my folding table folded in half behind my bedroom door, and I would pull it out and lay it on my bed to cut my fabric. I had a folding table, card table, and my folding fabric table. Everything else I just kind of kept stacked up in areas. I wouldn't buy a lot of fabric. Right. So I didn't have a whole lot on purpose.
Okay.
Well, not too long after I moved home, my mom bought another house. And the house that I grew up in that I had just moved back into, I ended up getting that from my mom. So I went from a card table to a whole house.
Oh my goodness.
And that was cool. And then all of a sudden I started realizing I was accumulating a lot of stuff. So what used to be the den, which when I was little was my sister's room. But what used to be the den is now my sewing room. And as you know, when I talked to you last summer, and it might even it was last year.
It was.
But I was trying to find a good sewing table because I had moved that little rinky-dink desk all over the place, and it was on its last leg. And I told you, it got to the point I would sew and the table would shake. A leg was wobbling. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna make it too much longer.
Yeah, especially with all your precious stuff on there. You don't want your machine to hit the ground either.
Exactly. And I didn't even have a serger at first. So I knew when the serger went on there, that was just it. So I ended up going to a furniture store, which is not here anymore. The place is called Offer, like OFR. Okay. And basically it was the same stuff you would see at Ashley Furniture and other places. But I guess it was like a almost like Wayfair. Like they had too much stuff. So
yeah, like overstocks type thing.
Exactly. But you would come in and make them the best offer.
Oh my.
So I ended up buying a table, which is actually a dinner table. And I love wood, like thick wood. I'm just, you can't beat that. I love wood floors. I just love wood. So I ended up, I think I paid maybe $300 for the table, but it has leaves that you could take off the sides, so you can make it longer, you make it shorter. And I love it. It gives me just enough room. And so I have my sewing machine and my serger side by side. I have a lot of things in here, but I don't have a lot of things mounted to the wall, like my things for my spools of thread. And that's because I want to paint in here, but I can't stop sewing long enough to go ahead and paint. So
wow,
that would help me if I stopped and did that, but it hasn't happened.
Wow. I love this about the dining room table. I don't think I would have thought furniture store, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's so clever, especially the expandability of it, that you could add one leaf, you could add both leaves, you could make it that much bigger. You were saying earlier when we were speaking that you could invite a friend over to sew with you, because the idea of having a table that could shrink and grow is pretty smart. And people figure that out for dining rooms because you want to have guests over to eat and stuff. But it also applies for sewing, because sometimes you don't need a table to be so big. And it still meet your needs and everything. But then sometimes you want it to be large so that you can get other friends to come and sew with you. So that's pretty fun.
It's smaller than my dining room table, but the width of it is awesome. I mean, it's literally like if I pulled it out from the wall, I could put somebody in their sewing machines on one side and I'm on the other, and it's still plenty of room. Like it was the perfect buy for this room.
Oh, that is so great. Because I think that makes a really big difference, you know, like the idea of having a good workflow. Now, let me ask you, some people like to keep their sewing machines at an L. So they'll have like an L with like the sewing machine here and then the serger there, but you have yours side by side. Well, I think mine are side by side as well, or not. Are they not side by side?
They're side by side. I initially wanted to have the L set up, but a friend gifted me.
So what was it that Stacie's friend gave her that made her change her mind about her L configuration? Stay tuned and you will find out after the break. Black Women Stitch and the Stitch Please podcast are happy to announce that we have another way to connect with our community. In addition to the IG Lives that we do every Thursday at 3 p.m., we also now have a club on Clubhouse. That's right, friends. They done messed up and given me the chance to have a club. Follow Black Women Stitch on Instagram and now on Clubhouse Thursdays at 3 p.m. on Instagram and 3:45 p.m. on Clubhouse Eastern Standard Time. And we'll help you get your stitch together. Welcome back, friends. You're listening to the Stitch Please podcast, and I'm talking today with Stacie Sturdivant, who is talking about her sewing space as part of a limited series that I will be doing on sewing spaces. Please note that Patreon supporters receive a video of this episode. Before the break, Stacie was explaining why she did not have an L configuration in her sewing room. So she's going to show us this and let us know why she made that decision. Here we go.
But a friend gifted me, you know how you go in department stores?
Yeah, I want to see. Ooh, I like that rack. That is cool.
You see this rack right here? Yeah, so his friend's mom passed, and she used to have a tailor shop. And they were getting rid of stuff, and they knew that I had just really gotten into sewing. And he was like, hey, if you come over here, you can get whatever you want, just take it on with you. So I went, I got that, and honestly, everything on there I made, but I kind of use it more as a drying rack for, dresses and stuff that I've made.
Right.
You're not going to put them in the dryer. But yeah, if I didn't have that, I would have done the L. but
Yes,
that corner
yes.
is
And do you,
preoccupied by
for your seating, what do you do for seating? Do you have a rolling chair, or do you like, how do you, what's your deal with seating?
So I don't have a rolling chair. Again, because I have such lovely people in my life.
Oh, that's pretty.
Knows, he had like there's a really now y'all don't go to this store and buy up all the stuff because this is my spot, okay? But there is a consignment shop here in Birmingham called Sozo's, Sozo. And every now and then I'll tag myself in things that I bought from there because it's a consignment shop, but the setup is so cool because I think all of the proceeds or a big chunk of it goes to the Sozo tribe in Africa.
Okay.
And it benefits the children. But when you go in, it's like the middle of the store is a boutique of things that people have made from in Sozo, like in Africa, and they've shipped it to the store and they sell it. So it's authentic. And then you have the true thrift store part of the store. And around the perimeter, people have they set up boutiques. So it's
great
just
setup.
such a cool store, and they have the best stuff. Like I have decorated my house with a lot of things that you find in there. My mom's friend had this chair. He got it restored, but then he bought something else. And he was like, I only got one chair. I don't really have a need for it. But it just looks like some Stacie would like. Tell her she likes it, she can have it. And I brought it here.
Wow.
And that's pretty much my chair.
That is awesome.
Yep. It's cushioned, it's perfect, it's good. And it goes with
that's great.
All of my furniture.
Now tell me about, how do you store your notions? Your like the zippers, your scissors, your buttons, and those kind of things. Do you have a special place for everything? Do you use bins and boxes? Do you have drawers? How do you deal with that?
So at this point, I just think I may need to just take my phone and turn my camera around because it's.
Yes, I want to walk through. Yes, please. Okay? It's just that I'm so good. You have to share. Please do.
So here we go.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So my zippers, you remember when I went crazy over the 50 cent, 25 cent zippers at Hobby Lobby?
Oh my, nice.
So, yeah, and I haven't even put a dent in them, and I've made a lot of things.
Okay.
But I have some zippers there in that rollers part. There were some that are just kind of free. And I've been sewing a lot with bias tape. So it's kind of mixed in here. It was set up all cute and stuff before, but I have a bias tape maker. Never took it out.
Oh, you gotta take that out.
And I have
and ribbon,
like lace trim,
ribbon,
Rogaine ribbon, cuffs. You know,
I love that.
Like a sweatshirt or something. Just all kinds of stuff stashed down in there.
Yep, I got my house socks on too.
So I'll step back just a little bit.
Oh, great. Okay, so you keep them side by. Oh, look, you have a sharps thing. It's like a real one, like a real thing.
Oh yeah. So listen, go to the beauty supply store, you guys, and get you a sharp container for like $2. And you can't go. You could probably get one in Sally's, but I mean, sometimes
go to the hair store. Go to the hair store and the beauty supply store. I did not know they had that.
So yeah, I paid like $2 or something for that $2.99.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, I keep that. All of my needles are pretty much here. And I'm gonna turn it back. Sorry, hope this doesn't mess with your recording. But I even have like some
neat
iron-on patches.
Oh, look at that's so cute. What a cute little drawer.
Yeah, just any clear little container that I
can buy. That's
Walmart,
awesome.
Get them. So these thread holders, of course, they could be mounted to the wall. I'm just not.
You gotta paint
because I'm truly gonna paint.
You're gonna paint.
Like it just has to happen. Let's see. Oh
Oh,
yeah, I keep
good.
my
Okay.
scissors
Yep.
right
Yep.
here. I have another little
Uh-huh.
rack that's just sitting here.
Yep. Yep.
Taylor's chalk, wax paper for tracing, just extra
Yep. Yep.
bobbins. Oh, and I have this
Oh,
bobbin
yeah.
container. I love it because you keep so many on one side
Oh, that's so
and then so
cute.
many on the other. And a little
I love
magnetic
those dishes. I
thing
have
for my
one of those from
pens.
Harbor Freight. Oh, that's cute. What is that with the way you have your pins,
Yes.
like they're in some kind of little cage around the top?
Yeah, so this is a
Huh.
true pen holder. This one is you have a little
Yeah.
decoration in the bathroom, like toothbrush holder. I bought two of those and I just
Oh,
started
that's so
using it for the
cute.
reason. So it just is what it is. I have my rotary cutters. I only cut out my fabric with rotary
Nice.
cutters. This is for my fabric. This is for when I'm cutting out patterns. I rarely use my scissors. Rarely. Of course, my serger thread. And this is just my quick grab. Whatever I need is right
Nice.
here. This is my
Oh,
true
right.
desk for
Okay.
work. So I just kind of turn to my side. I'm either over here truly working. And for what I do, I have to keep like sampling supplies and
Oh,
stuff
I
in there.
see.
So
That's work,
it's
work,
real
work,
deal. We're
work.
not even gonna look over here.
Wow. Look at your
This
fabric.
is fabric. Yeah, and I'm trying to do better. I've tried to separate my
Mhm.
fabric by type. So there may be a little something thrown in,
Okay.
other places, but for the most part, everything like these are like
Yes.
my workout knits and stuff. So yeah,
That's
all
great.
of that craziness here. This
Oh,
is a jewelry box that started out truly being a jewelry box, but I pretty much use it for
wow.
snaps, just all kinds of stuff. If I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a
Accessories,
brooch or
pins, etc.,
something,
etc. Yeah, that's so cool. You need a little place
yes,
for all those little tiny things. Oh, for
my
buttons too.
yes. Yeah, so these are like my everyday buttons, and then this one are like my
Yeah.
fancy buttons.
Hmm.
More storage. I bought this bookshelf.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
turn this to the side. And I pushed it up against the wall, so it's more storage, but out of the
Yes,
way. Like
that's
you
right.
can't even really see it, depending
Right,
on how
right,
you
right.
come in the room.
And are those on the bookshelf? Are those patterns?
Fun fact: these
That
are
is
all
so
patterns.
interesting to organize them on a bookshelf. And the depth of the shelf looks
Yes,
perfect.
yes. So the top row
Huh.
is all simplicity. The second row, the first half is McCall's. This is you name it.
Yes, yes,
Buttery,
yes.
quick soul, those kind of mixed in. And then my Vogue patterns. And it's amazing. As much as I love Vogue patterns,
I
I don't
mean,
have as many. But I am always reaching for a Vogue
that is
pattern for a
so
dress. I
funny
just
that you
love them.
like to sew them so much, but then you can look to see like, but what you really buy tends to be the simplicity. I think I might same actually. I think I might
Right.
have more simplicity than anything, which is weird.
Yep. Yep. This is just my
That's a
overflow.
cute little sewing
This is like
box
my
though. That's
traveling kit if
adorable.
I need it. Thank you. And just more overflow in here.
Yep, I have that
My
same
wonder
box.
clips.
Does it have those Victorian children on it?
And I never
Your
throw away
box, the
plastic
box with the
containers.
pins, does it have the Victorian children on it? Yeah, I gave
I
those
got it
away
from
because I gave
Amazon.
those away because I wanted the children to be turned brown.
Oh wait,
Yes,
no,
that's the ones. That's the
spirited
same one.
children.
Those
Sorry.
very terrifying looking
Yeah.
children. Yeah, I gave those to a friend, and she was supposed to make them brown. I don't know how that's going, but
Oh, I never really put the lid on. It doesn't bother me. But I bought these pattern weights,
oh, that's
but
so
I made
cute.
these. So yeah, I just bought a bunch of washers. This is definitely a
Uh-huh.
Mimi G hack that she talked about.
Yes.
So I just bought some washers, and to
And
add more weight and make them cute, I
oh,
just
that's so
glued some pink
cute.
Rogaine ribbon and put some pearls on them, and
That's
I
great.
just
Now
keep
you
them
said
all
that
right
you
there.
screwed down or bolted down your cutting mats. How did you do?
Uh-huh. I just took a drill and just drilled down like right here, right here. I did two on the other side.
And is
So
this
that's
just
one
a
half of the
plastic
table,
folding
and then the
table
other half.
we're looking
Uh-huh. So
That
it
is
folds right here.
that is another
And I position them such that I can fold this table up and stick it wherever I need
wow.
to get
That
it
is
out the way.
amazing. I mean, that is very clever. I had not thought because I'm always like, of course, annoyed if a mat shifts, but I never thought about how to get it to not shift.
That's what made me do it, because I was so sick of them shifting. And I know that you can like
Yes.
custom order them, but I was like, if I get one that completely covers the table, I
Right.
can never fold the table if I mount it down. So I'm happy with this. I have a little hiccup like in the
Right.
middle every now and then that I may have to use my
Right.
scissors as opposed to my rotary cutter, but that's it. So up at the top, this is a bookshelf. Well, I keep most of my shoes
Oh
here.
my
Where there are
goodness.
lot
That's a
more
nice rack
than
though.
what you
I like
see.
that.
Thank you. But cordless iron, regular iron. I can't remember which brand that is. And the steamer is my new best friend, especially that now I take my own pictures. So for my backdrops, I steam them just
Yes.
so the wrinkles will
Yes. That's so clever.
Sewing
Wow, I know
library.
I have that. Look, some of those look very familiar. I have some of those. I know I have that Singer Perfect Fit book. And now these binders, like some of your own things that you've collected.
Yeah, this binder is empty because it's a newer one. Right here, I have
Oh yeah.
pattern. Yeah, so these are like my true books.
Oh,
My sister bought me
good.
this one. I think I bought this fashion design book because Raven
Yes.
mentioned
Yes.
that one. I think she recommended it. So I bought that. These are just don't worry about that. Those are just old notebooks that I don't throw away. But in here,
Wow.
these are loaded down with instructions for different patterns, and
Yes.
I have them tabbed out. I'll pull. Let me see. I'll pull one.
Oh, I love that's a really nice looking notebook.
Yeah, that's like a obsession of mine. Like really pretty binders, and I tab out the instructions according to what it is. So just different things. Some of these I haven't even made, but they're ready to go.
Great.
When I'm ready. So these are the other 3 instruction booklets for my sewing machine, my serger, and in here are all of my PDF patterns that need to be pulled out.
Oh my gosh. Why are you taping patterns, sis? Why are you taping patterns?
Well, this was in the beginning. I, first became, familiar with PDF. So that's why they're still here. Because now I take them and get them printed. But before we were doing that, we were printing and I just don't always have time. So they're going to live there until I'm ready to pull them out one day. This is just if I want to make pennies or something like that. I have all the elastic waiting, my ham and such, more elastic. This is not really a secret, but my sorority is doing pillowcase dresses for little girls in Africa. So that's a project that I work on in my spare time. So
I see.
Yeah, this is some leather making stuff. I go in here every now and then. Yeah, so I don't do leather too much. I mean,
oh my gosh, I know.
Just the bomb. Like,
I mean, her work is so good. And I was telling her, I spoke with her for the podcast last year. And I was like, I tried to sign up for your class and I made the mistake of waiting till the end of the day and it was gone. She was like, yeah, I know. Like that class sold out in 2 hours. I was like, I'm thinking.
Yeah. But she's just so cool, so down to earth, and so talented. But this is just overflow of fabric that I haven't touched yet. Some crinkly faux fur. And I love to make a faux fur jacket in a minute. So I'll pop out with that and think nothing of it. But that's it. I keep my ironing board behind the door, and then I have a little small one that has become my best friend. because I don't have
Oh
to move.
my, yeah. You know, it's so it looks like it's a sleeve
It's
board,
my
but you
best.
just use it like a regular ironing board. That
I
is
really do. It's my
that
best
is
friend.
genius. That is
Yeah, I loved it. It was like, I think I got it for when Hobby Lobby was still
oh,
doing
okay.
the 40% off coupon. I got it for like
Wow.
$7. But
Oh
that's
my
my fun
gosh,
stuff.
Stacie, this is amazing. Oh my word. Thank you
Yeah,
so
that's
much
it.
for sharing your space with us. And I have learned so much from you. I can just off the top of my head, hair store for sharps. Never would have thought that. Never would have thought about that.
Yep.
Okay, that's new on me. Drilling your mat to your plastic table. I don't know why I thought that never occurred to me. Genius move. There was something else you had done. I'll think of it when I go back and review the tape. I just think this is so much fun. You have so many wonderful ideas and hacks and stuff. So what's next for you? Oh, the dining room table where you add the leaves. But you don't have to show me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't have to show
showed
that.
the
You don't have to
table,
show that.
but
But I was just like, it's just these
okay.
ideas. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the Sewing Spaces series was so that people could get ideas for how to use their own space. I love the natural light that your room has. That is really, really
Thank
nice.
you.
And I'm sure like you could, if you felt like it, you could crack the window, but I know it's hot down there, so you probably don't want to crack no windows, but you can look out and see your yard and the natural light coming in. It's just wonderful. It's really great.
Yeah, I'm real big on natural light. Even down to taking pictures. Like I
Yeah.
do pictures in the house just
Yes.
because, I live alone and it's just more convenient
Right.
than
Right.
always bugging somebody. Because I can take
Yes.
my own pictures outside and it's beautiful, but for safety purposes, I just don't think anybody should take pictures by themselves
Right.
with
Right.
their real
Right.
camera. So
Yeah.
that's just my thing.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
sketchy in the world. But yeah, I got all my windows replaced in my house back in October. So I will either let a window down or let it up and just get the cool breeze. I love when it's sunny out.
Oh, that is so
light.
wonderful. Well, with that, I love
Thank
light
you.
is a perfect note on which for us to end this wonderful conversation. I am so grateful for you taking the time to walk us through your space. So tell us,
Thank you, because I never would have even thought to show it. So thank you for asking me to do it, because I just didn't think anybody would have cared to see what's going on in here. Only thing I didn't show, I have it's a calendar.
oh, I saw that. I did see it. So do you use that to manage your projects?
Somewhat. I more so will take a sticky note and write whatever, and I'll put it like in order. I may put the days up there, but for the most part, I'll just kind of put them in order. And when I finish one, I love the fulfillment I get of taking one down.
Oh, it's a great tracker.
I feel accomplished.
Oh, I had not thought about using Post-its as a tracker too. That is so smart.
That's how I do for work. I like to put down everything I need to do on a sticky note. The goal is to get through the sticky note. I have a planner and all of that, but if I can get through my sticky notes,
I like it. I had heard that technique from someone else that that basically everything you want to do needs to fit on a sticky note, right? Like you don't need like a list to-do list for every day that's like this,
Yeah, because it's just impossible to get all that done. But if I can make it,
oh, that's great. And then you got sticky notes for your sewing too. I love it. Yay. Stacie, this has been so wonderful. Tell folks where they can find you out there in these internet social media streets.
All right. If you're looking for me, honey, you can find me anywhere as Stacie. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you were to email me, it would be Stacie18. For whatever reason, I couldn't get Stacie. Like, who else is, especially with Stacie spelled like mine, but Stacie18. 18 is the year that I started sewing. So Stacie18 at Gmail. And my blog, I love the Wix app, but it's no quick way for me to tell you how to get to my blog. So you probably just put that in the show notes, because it's just it's kind of lengthy, and I need to take it upon myself to do a link tree, because I've just not done that. But that's it. I'm so Stacie everywhere. Email Stacie18@gmail, and then the super.
That's right. Well, I will find that, and I'll make sure it's in the show notes so people can just click on it without having to figure out how to find it. So we will definitely take care of that. Stacie, thank you so much for sharing your space with us. This has been really wonderful. I am looking forward to getting this episode out in the world. And just thank you so much for spending the time with us today. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Stitch Please podcast, the official podcast of Black Women Stitch, the sewing group where Black Lives Matter. We appreciate you supporting us by listening to the podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us with questions, you can contact us at blackwomenstitch@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do that by supporting us on Patreon, Patreon, and you can find Black Women Stitch there in the Patreon directory. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help support the project with things like editing, transcripts, and other things to strengthen the podcast. And finally, if financial support is not something you can do right now, you can really, really help the podcast by rating it and reviewing it anywhere you listen to podcasts that allows you to review them. So I know that not all podcast directories or services allow for reviews, but for those who do, for those that have like a star rating or just ask for a few comments, if you could share those comments and say nice things about us at the Stitch Please podcast, that is incredibly helpful. Thank you so much. Come back next week and we'll help you get your stitch together.